What's going on, y'all? It's me, Ryan, your host for the library, presented by Classic Buffalo. This is book 12, where we're interviewing Madeline. I couldn't pronounce her last name, so I didn't say it. But she's super cool. She knows a bunch of famous people. She is pursuing dance slash the fashion industry over in New York City, and man, she's a chatty Cathy in a good way. You're really going to enjoy this one. We're going to talk a lot about some injuries, some pursuit of her dream in New York City, and her humble beginnings from Indiana. So, without further ado, let's get to it. Hello, Madeline. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you? All the way in Indy.
We're in the NYC. Or are you in New York and you're not in New York City? I'm pretty sure you're in New York City, though.
So I'm in New York City. I'm actually in Queens. It's a city called Long Island City in Queens. It's right next to Manhattan.
Okay. I'm already confused because there's so many boroughs, aren't there?
There's 5 boroughs.
Regions and stuff?
Brooklyn, Queens, Long Island, where everything is. I mean, Manhattan's just the big one.
Okay, so you're in Manhattan.
I am not in Manhattan. I'm in Queens.
Okay, you're in Queens.
Yeah.
Okay. So all right. We're going to start very, very beginning. You were born. Were you born in New York and then moved to New York City? Or were you born in New York City, in Queens, and you're still there?
No, I was born and raised in Indy.
Wow. Okay.
I was born on a farm, babe.
Oh, you know that? So, you're a farm girl.
Oh yeah, I'm the classic cliche. A small town girl moves to the big city.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, man. When's your movie coming out?
Oh, I don't know, but I can't wait for it. I need that money to roll in. Gotta pay those New York City bills.
Man, yeah, I heard it's expensive over there.
It's crazy.
I heard it's like $5 to breathe an hour.
Oh yeah, for sure. This air quality is amazing, I'm sure.
So, what's your favorite animal that you had on the farm? How were you? Were you on a farm for forever? Then high school, college, you moved out, and you've just always kind of been on a farm, or were you I grew up on a farm, but then we moved to a house and we got into the suburbs?
So I mean, the farm is always my home. My dad and my papa for years, they had a hog farm, and where you had hogs, you had corn, beans, soy, you name it. And my mother was never a huge fan, but we did have hogs on our farm one year. My mom said never again.
Yeah.
But, I lived on 23 acres of land in the middle of Arcadia, for those who actually know what Arcadia, Indiana is. It's the middle of nowhere, closest to, Westfield and Carmel. I did go to Brebeuf, so it was kind of a drive, 45 minutes. But, no, I mean, my neighbors had horses, but we were never, huge on all the animals and the whatnot.
Okay. Yeah, because I was you strike me as a very girly girl.
Which people will never guess when I meet them here that I'm from a small town in Indiana.
Yeah. So I went to Westfield.
Oh, nice. So you're 10 minutes from me then.
Yep. Yeah. So I went to Westfield Middle High School.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, when I came to New York for the first time, I was 10 years old.
Wow.
I went and I saw the beautiful Radio City Rockettes. And I told my mom at the tender age of 10, I was like, Mom, I'm going to move to New York when I'm 18 and I'm going to become a Rockette. And 18 came along. I applied to all these colleges. Something we could get into is that crazy process, but eventually
we will.
I went to Marymount Manhattan and as a dance major, and I was training with a former Rockette of 12 years. And I was trained to be a Rockette.
When you said that, when you're I'm 10, seriously, that's movie where I'm going to do this. And then years later, you're doing it. Oh my God, I did it.
It was so surreal. I mean, it was my dreams were coming true.
I saw that. I was trying to find some photos and stuff of you on Instagram, and I saw the Rockettes because I was going to ask you about that. So when you said that, that's just so funny. That's so cool that you did that.
My childhood dream. I mean, if anything could come true, that would be the number one thing out of my whole childhood of what I would always want to do.
What does that mean though? Like, is it kind of like a cheerleader? Are you in plays? Are you like kind of for people who don't know?
So for people
what is
who
a
don't
Rockette?
know who the Radio City Rockettes are, I mean, they're the glory of, Manhattan and its best. I mean, they've been around since the 30s. I mean, they are the ladies that have the kick line, the precision, the grace, the power, everything. And they just have been such an idol to me since I was a kid that I was like, I need to be there. And the thing which is so beautiful about the Radio City Rockettes is that they honor the tall women. I am 5'10" and a half, and that is actually the middle height and the tallest you can be to be a Rockette. The Rockettes are 5'7" to 5'10". I kid you not. One of the parts in the audition process is they measure how tall you are.
Whoa.
And so some of my stature, I've been 5'4" since 4th grade. I mean, some people aren't even that tall now, and I've always been taller than everyone else.
Mm-hmm. Did you play like volleyball and basketball?
Everyone asks me that, but I mean, besides a few summer camps here and there, I never got into volleyball, basketball. Hamilton Heights, I played softball 1 year, but I always chose to go back to dance.
Yeah. So when you say dance, did you do ballet? Is that basically dance?
So a little shout out to my brother, who actually is a professional ballet dancer. I never got into ballet, but it's definitely something you need to have under your belt for your technique. But I was more into commercial dance, more jazz, more Broadway, more commercial, more hip hop, that was my kind of style. Yeah. I was never someone who would love to get in point shoes and wear a tutu. No.
Yeah. And I could tell that. So like the dancing, does that, like, let's say you're a dancer, do you go into be in like on Broadway or like to be in plays as a dancer? Like you don't have to know any lines, but like you're a background dancer, or like what do you do? How does somebody get paid?
So I mean,
to do that?
It's always the struggle trying to figure out, but you usually have a path line of which one you want to go to. I mean, what's awesome about dance today is that it's so integrated with everything you see and do, but it's so difficult because you have to figure out the right ways to go about it, if that makes sense. I mean, people go to New York City for more Broadway, for more jazzy and older dance, and then you go to like LA. That's where all the commercials, that's where all of the music videos are happening, like movies. Like that's kind of you gotta pick your vibe. You want West Coast or East Coast, but for the most part, you can find it both ways. But you gotta figure out, do I want to go like strict ballet? Because like if you want to go strict ballet, you're studying from a young age. I mean, I went to a ballet conservatory for a couple of years where I was with these beautiful women that were not in school. They were homeschooled. They were there at the studio 24/7, getting to that precision, going on world competitions to become the greatest, and then eventually get into a company one day. So you decide from a younger age, hopefully, that this is what you want to do. And so you have to follow that track and then hopefully succeed.
Would you move to LA?
I visited LA for the first time in January. It wasn't my favorite. I mean, obviously, I don't know if anyone knew, but there was kind of a bad storm that was happening in January, and everyone was laughing at me who had lived in LA because I said, oh my God, I hated LA. It was raining the whole time. And then I'm talking to people who've lived in LA for years, like, oh my God, it rained like 3 times when I lived there for 5 years. Like, what are you talking about? But I don't know. It wasn't my scene. I can tell I'm a city girl in New York. That's just, where I've been the past couple of years. It's my dream to be here. But I mean, I don't know. I just think I like the bustle of the city. I like something that's fast paced and all close together. I mean, maybe if I had to be there for a couple of months, it'd be a different story, but I definitely prefer the East Coast.
Yeah. Would you say like you might like bust like another city like on the East Coast?
I don't know.
Or do you really think like New York City or bust?
I feel like it's New York City or go home. That's just my feeling right now.
You can always dance in the field.
That's true. I can just go hopping through the cornfields.
That's a niche you can cash in on. I'll let you have that one for free.
But yeah.
It's Beauty and the Bovine.
Just like go lay on some bales of hay.
Yeah.
Prance through the cornfield.
Hey, I'll give it to you for free, and then you pay me on some royalties later. But
we'll get it back.
Tell me about your brother.
Yeah, so my brother, funny story. I mean, he's the the sport jock you can imagine. I mean, he played basketball, football, baseball. He played football up until his senior year of high school. When he was around, I think 8 or 9, this was when I was doing competition dancing. So for those who don't really know competition dancing, you're learning like 8 or 9 pieces a year, and you're cleaning them, you're precising them, and then you go to like 5 or 6 competitions and nationals, and then you compete against, whoever you are. You sometimes for like nationals, you go to like Florida or like Myrtle Beach, like fun stuff like that. And I was training, nonstop. So, I mean, even at a young age, I started this when I was 5 years old. But yeah, so basically I was there 24/7. And obviously my parents, like, they kind of kept us together because they were like, we're not going to drive around the whole dang city because, we live so far. And so he had to be there all the time. And then eventually they were like, he was like, I want to try, because he had been there all those times. He was like, I'm going to try it. And so eventually he started getting really serious about it. He went to that ballet conservatory, Indiana Ballet Conservatory, amazing facility. Started teaching and about all the Vaganova and Russian kind of, techniques, and got really serious about it. And then his senior year of high school, amazing year for him. I mean, he was auditioning for all of these universities, and go IU, Hoosiers. They were like, listen, we're going to give you a scholarship if you want to come. And my parents were like, listen, Glenn, if you want to go with this route, you can't play football, because he's been injured before. He's had, God bless his soul, so many concussions. He's had a hand injury. I mean, you name it. I mean, it's football. And he had to decide the year that later he would find they went to state. He had to give all that up to go be at Indiana University in the Jacob School of Music, which would then lead to his career of being in Kansas City Ballet, performing at the oh my goodness, so I don't know why it's blanking me right now, probably because we're recording, and of course I can't remember.
That's all right.
Oh my gosh, it's really I can't get it in my mind. In DC. Oh my gosh. It's really, I can't even think of what it's called. Oh my god, I really am blanking. It's really gonna kill me that I'm thinking of this. The Kennedy Center. Oh my gosh. There it is.
There you go. Nailed it.
I nailed it. Only took me 10 seconds. The Kennedy Center. He got to perform Nutcracker, one of the highest, oh my gosh, honors of him. And now he's actually in Indiana Ballet, and he is a company member. And I'm so proud of him. And he's worked crazy hard to get to where he is today.
Wow. So he's like a role model.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, if you're going to ask me for the one person in my life who I've seen motivated constantly, I mean, he goes to the gym twice a day. He goes to ballet classes, extra classes. He's actually teaching like at 2 different studios, and he's just doing what he loves. And on top of all the things I just said, he's going back to grad school to study psychology. I'm just at IU, go Hoosiers. I'm just so proud of him. I mean, it's crazy everything that he's been doing in a short period of time after he graduated.
So did you ever have like doubts, with pursuing dance or pursuing fashion, pursuing the things that you're pursuing? And did you feel like, because and this is just a guess, but I feel like you're like, well, my brother did it, like I can do this.
So funny you mentioned that, because in high school I actually thought I had a career-ending injury. So
talk about that.
My feet were bothering me. I mean, it's always been something, because I grew so fast, and in such a short period of time all my life. I've always had back issues, I've had feet issues, knee problems, I mean, you name it. And then, one day I was like, oh, I really got to get this checked out. My right foot was really bugging me. So I went to the doctor, and they were like, oh, we'll take an x-ray of both feet and we'll see what's going on. And the doctor comes back, and he was like, actually, we took an x-ray of both of your feet to see the one that was, wrong and the one that was right. And they actually turned out both to be broken. So the bone under the ball of your foot, my foot, was in 2 pieces. So basically they think that from overusage that my feet just broke. So I am, in and out of doctor's offices doing cortisone shots, the maximum you can do. And then I had to get, the amniotic cells, the cells that are in, a mother's placenta that grow new cells. They injected that into my foot. My foot grew like the size of a golf ball. It was so inflamed, and they were like, we got to take the bone out. So in my right foot, I actually had to remove that bone, and I had to go through surgery. And keep in mind, this is my junior year of high school, where I'm about to audition for colleges. So they told me, they were like, listen, like, I mean, you're gonna have to rethink, your career path. Like, you don't know if you can dance again. And oh my God, that crushed me. It crushed me. I was like, you've been telling me that something I've been working towards my whole life, I had to just give up, because of this. And so, I had to think about what really made me happy. And I was like, no, I'm not done. I'm going to go back. And so I went through physical therapy, and I was like, I have to do this. And my first audition was for Arizona. And I was like, I have to go out. I'm going to fly out to Arizona. I'm going to audition. And my physical therapist, I kid you not, she was like, you're not going to get in. Stop. You are not ready. You had surgery a couple months ago. You are not back to where you were before. And I didn't listen to her. I was like, no, this is what I wanted to do. I'm going to go do it. I'm going to go audition. I'm going to go fly out there. And basically, I auditioned for about 3 different colleges that I really wanted to go to, including Marymount Manhattan and Point Park. And I didn't get in anywhere. I got every single rejection letter you could name of. And I was crushed. I mean, I obviously didn't listen to my physical therapist because I was just so in the moment. I couldn't give up on my dream. And I was like, I'm going to try anyway. And facing all that rejection, I was like, are you kidding me? I was like in the deepest pit you could imagine, on rock bottom. And at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go to New York. I want to go to Marymount Manhattan. I'm going to study for a year, and I'm going to re-audition. And so, lo and behold, I go out to New York City. I talk to the dance department. I'm training as hard as I ever had before, still with my Rockette girl, Rhonda. I love her. And I talked to the dance department. I'm like auditioning, and they had after the first semester, they had an audition. And I can't remember how many people. There's like probably 20 people who auditioned. And it got down to like 3 of us to do the solo round. And I did my solo. And, I was talking to one of the directors, Nancy, and she was like, oh, I remember you. You were in the Chicago audition. And she was like, I didn't even recognize you. You were a different dancer. She's like, what happened?
Wow.
And I was like, I had just had surgery. I wanted to keep dancing, but I wasn't ready, but I wanted to anyway. And she was like, well, congrats. Like, you're amazing. Like, I can tell you've been working on getting back to yourself. And I got back into the dance department, and it was amazing. It was the best feeling ever. It was just like a weight lifted off my shoulders that I'm going to continue. I'm not going to stop this.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh my gosh, it was crazy. I mean, I was like, imagine like everything that you had worked towards your life, and then everyone says, no, you're done. And I was like, I can't be done yet. I'm not ready.
Yeah.
So I went to Marymount.
That's so badass. That's so bad. Like, cause it's just like, I don't know. It's just almost one of those, like, you failed and everyone just thinks you're done. And then it's just, you're like, you go into like the movie montage where like the music is playing and you're just doing jump rope and the physical therapy every day and every day. And you're lifting weights or just whatever. And then it's just like, it cuts to black. It says like 6 months later. And then it's just like, you're killing it. And they're like, who's that? And then you're just like, oh my God, you look familiar. And you're just like, yeah, I worked my ass off. Like, it just kind of, that's like so cool. Just the way that you phrased it, where she was just like, oh, you look familiar. Like, you look so different. Like, you're like, yeah, because I don't know. That's just so cool. I'm just fanboying out over here, but
it was a great
feeling.
Really cool. I mean, because, obviously when there's rejection, you question everything. You don't know, what was it? Was it me? Was it like, have I always been like this? Was I never good enough? And it was just a hard pill to swallow because I didn't know, I mean, obviously you want to, not obviously, you always humble, but at the same time you have to believe in yourself. And so when I wasn't able to do that, I questioned everything about myself and my training, and if I ever worked hard enough, if I was ever ready for this. And then when I got that email that I gotten into the dance department, it was tears of joy. I mean, it was like everything I had worked towards and what I wanted to do, I got in. It was amazing. Nothing can be this happy to me.
When you got that news, because obviously, like, you fought back, you just obviously just heard that story. It's awesome. Did you have people around you that were like, hey, you can do this? Like, did you have people around you? Did you have, like, because you said it was kind of devastating, which it kind of was, but like, did you have people come and surround you? They spent time with you? Did you just like, did you like journal a lot? Did you just like, you just poured all your energy into getting better? Like, what do you think was like the most helpful thing that you did or other people did for you? Like in that moment when like you hit the wall and you failed, I'm doing quotes because you didn't really fail eventually, right? But like, what was very helpful in that when you hit the wall at the first time?
So I will say like 3 people that will stand out. 2 be my parents, as corny as it is. They are the ones that funded me to go to New York City because they believed in me. I told them my plan. They were like, go, we believe in you. We want to send you to New York City. As much as they were sad I was leaving Indiana, I was like, I gotta go. This is what I'm meant to do. They were behind me 1,000% every step of the way. Even when I didn't get in, they were like, go, you're going to be amazing. You're going to get back into the department. And the third actually being my resident advisor when I got there. He was actually himself in the dance department. And I told him, I mean, I forget, it was like one of the first nights I was actually staying in my dorm. And I like just poured out every feeling I had, kind of what I just told you, just, you know, all of the rejection and everything. And he was like, you know what, I'm gonna train you. I'm gonna tell you what they're gonna look for in the audition, and we're gonna do this together. He even got with me and like did a class with me and like told me, you need to do this, you need to do that. And I want to thank him, Dalton. I want to thank him because he was one of the reasons I got into the department, just helping me get that courage to, you know, try again.
Yeah. What advice would you give to, and if this is a repeat question, that's I'm not trying to be, but like if I'm like afraid to go for something I really want to do, or maybe I don't even know what I want to do, but I'm crippled by anxiety, I don't want to fail. What advice would you give someone?
So it's difficult. I mean, I completely understand anxiety. I've been through it myself, and I still am going through that. But the thing is, it's so hard with today because we can get so overwhelmed. I mean, we're watching TV, we're watching videos, we see people, you know, achieving such great things that we feel so small. But we have to always remember that we have to try, we have to get better, and there's always that chance to be that person in the video or be that person on TV, and we can achieve that as well. But it's small steps and it's huge steps at the same time. I mean, we have to remember, yeah, I'm not there yet, but I'm gonna get there. So that's what always was difficult for me, because I was like, oh my gosh, like, don't get me wrong, it's so awesome watching amazing dancers kill it on YouTube videos and on all these competition shows and, you know, videos, but it can get so, I don't know the word, just like you feel so down because you're like, wow, I don't look like that. And that's something that's super hard, anxiety, because you're like, oh my gosh, will I ever be like that? Am I ever good enough? But at a certain point, you got to look over and it's not arrogance. It's knowing that you have confidence and that you can be that good. And if you do these things, you can be like that too, but you have to stay focused and motivated to be that way, because you have to understand those dancers were not like that overnight. It's not going to happen overnight. I mean, like I said, I was in physical therapy for months and I still didn't get in, but after a year of training and getting back into it, I got back in. So like, it's just a matter of overcoming that anxiety, because there's a wall there. I totally get that wall where you're like, I'm gonna stop, I can't do it, this wall is blocking me, I am too overwhelmed. But you have to get past that wall and be like, wow, like I did it, like I saw my hard work, I see it right now in front of my eyes paying all off. I'm that person in the videos, I'm the person on TV, because I did all these things and I got over it. And I had to understand that it was in myself, the confidence, again, not arrogance, because you can know for yourself, I am good enough. But you have to have that confidence or it's going to be super hard. And also, it's awesome having a great support system next to you, by your side, telling you you are good enough, being there when you are down, but also being there when you're up.
Yeah. What would you recommend somebody if they don't really have a good circle? You know, like how, and not obviously, but you're a very extroverted person. You would agree?
I would agree.
Yeah. So making friends is a little easier
It
for you
used to
than
not be, I
some
will
people.
say. As outgoing as I am now, that was something I worked on from a young age. How did
you work on it?
I don't know. I mean, you have to get to this point where you can't care what everyone thinks about you. I mean, that was something that crippled me when I was young. I mean, I was standing in a room and I'm like, oh my God, everyone hates me. This person's thinking about this. They're looking at my outfit, how my makeup, my hair. And at one point, I think it was really New York that did this for me. I noticed my friend at the time, we're walking down the street and like, I don't remember what we were joking about, but we start like singing, like, you know, what I love to do now that I don't care what people think about me, I love ugly singing. I think it's the best way to have a good time, and you get to feel the song. And so we were walking down the street. I was singing This Is like The Climb by Miley Cyrus.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like screaming it. And then like she was like, "Oh my God, people are gonna stare." I'm like, "I don't care. They're gonna be gone in like 5 seconds. Why would I
It's
care
true.
what they're gonna think?" And that was when it really hit me. I was like, "Oh my God, I don't care." I was like, I'm confident in myself. I love myself, and if I can do this for fun and I'm enjoying it, why wouldn't I do it?
Mm-hmm.
And I again, like now thinking about it, me 10 years ago, 5 years ago, I would have never done that. I would have been so embarrassed, like, oh my God, they're all staring at me, like they're gonna think something of me. No, have fun, be confident in yourself, like. And also for your question about the circle, if you don't have a good circle, what do? You're in the wrong circle, honey. Like it's not you, it's the circle. Like I was once in a situation like in high school, I was like, I think it was like my freshman year, I was like not fitting in. I cared what everyone else thought of me. I was the girl that came from a small Catholic school that didn't know anyone going into the next school. And I was like so worried about like being this Carmelite, may I say, and like fitting in with all of these, you know, prep kids. And I never did. And I like, it killed me. I mean, I wanted to be a part of every group, but I never found my group. And I did later in high school, but it killed me the first couple of years. And then when I finally found my group, I was like, now I understand. Like I was in the wrong circle, and I continue to find my circles. Like I have my circle in New York City that I love, all of my friends out here, but you have to find your circle that all have the same motivations and good intentions that are going to help you succeed, and that aren't going to pull you down or aren't jealous, or they all need to have good intentions and be with you by your side, and then you will all succeed, and then you won't be in the wrong circle anymore because you would have found the right connection.
Yeah. It's so interesting, just the concept of having the right circle. There's this it's when you start interacting with people who make you feel good, and that almost like the momentum, it's like sort of like platonic chemistry, if you will, of like, you just like, oh my gosh, they make me feel good. They're doing things, I'm trying to do things, we're like encouraging each other or whatever. And when you hang out with that person and then you go and hang out with somebody in your circle and you're like, oh my God, my circle sucks. Because you're like, that person I just met with is like, I need to find more people like that. I had one of those experiences with this one dude I've been just hanging out with for a long time. And it's just, this is like, so I've lost 32 pounds.
Congrats.
I like, thank you. I was like gluten-free, working out 3 times a week and stuff. I'm really proud of that. And like, I'm doing stuff, podcasts and all that stuff. And it's just like, he just was like that, you know, and I'm just like, and he's just gained a lot of weight, all kinds of stuff. And it's just this other girl who's like just meetings all the time, always busy, a light in the room, lovey-dovey, she's supportive, all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, I need to hang out with this person a lot. Because it's just like, because they're doing things, they're encouraging me through my business and stuff. It's having a circle is so important for like the right people, because you become a lot like who you surround yourself with. It's just finding a way to make your circle like better. It's, you know, I'm maybe just been curious. Have you dealt with catcalling in New York?
Oh my God, don't get me started. It's like a New York pastime to random creepy standbys. It's crazy. I mean, like, so like even when I was a teenager, I was getting catcalled, which is even creepier, first of all. But no, I was thinking about it. I was going to work in the morning. I don't remember, like 9 o'clock or so. I'm in like professional work clothes. I'm not in like a mini skirt. I'm in like dress pants and like a blouse and And I get catcalled. I'm like, what is it about these men? Like, no matter what I'm wearing, I'm always something. And I was actually talking to my mom about it. She was like, they're turned on by the, the woman, like, not like you're not a girl anymore. You're a woman. Like, you are going to work. You're professional. You're responsible. And I thought that was really interesting to think about. Like, it's different. I get more catcalls than when I was in dress clothes than like a mini skirt, which I thought was funny to think about.
Yeah, and it's my side question, my follow up or whatever is just like, what is your thoughts on empowering women, and not necessarily through sexuality, but just by being a strong woman in the workforce, or like just a woman who's going for what she wants? Because you are someone who's going for her dance dream, someone who's going for the fashion industry, someone who's going for it, right? And that can, I wouldn't say intimidating, but a powerful woman. Let's go with that. I think that's a powerful and passionate woman. What would be your voice towards women to empower them, or what's your kind of thoughts on the empowerment of women?
I mean, I think it's all about just not falling to conformity, not falling to see, oh, I have to do what they're doing to be able to succeed. You have to be yourself, be true to yourself, not like follow what everyone else has done before. I think that's just the main issue we are having, because, oh, I know this way will succeed. I'm going to do what they're doing. Or, oh, I know how to play a man's game. No, you got to play your own game at your own pace, at your own time. You have to be true to who you are and not doing some crazy things that you would have never done. You have to, even just like so simple as dressing. Like, you don't have to dress like corporate woman 101. Like, you can like add your own flavor to it. Like, no, everyone's gonna take you seriously, but the way you present yourself. It's not about how you look. It's not about how you dress. It's not about the exact certain knowledge you know. It's not where you went to college. It's not where you're from. It's how you present yourself and your confidence. It's about knowing that you are there for a reason, and you're going to present that reason, and you're going to walk away being successful.
That's good. What would be your advice to men in general? Do you have a general advice towards men of like, this is how, I don't know. It was just a random question I had.
I mean, I don't know. I don't really have a problem right now that I can think of that I would be upset with the male race. But, I mean, just, a huge thing today is understanding, double standards. Just, I mean, I went to a school where women could not wear skirts or dresses that didn't hit their knee. And even one morning there was a convocation. So I went to a Jesuit school, and there was a convocation where they literally had faculty stand at the front where students came in, and they had them basically walking around on like a freaking catwalk and putting their arms up to see if their dress did indeed hit their knee. And they sent some people home. And what was the craziest part of all is that not only do the women have to, follow these certain rules, but the men do as well. The men have to wear a tie. They have to wear, certain, whatever slacks or whatever. And I can tell you a number of guys walked in without a tie on and didn't get two looks. And it's just stuff like that where it's just really frustrating, where yes, like, we can see why it'd be easier to point out a woman and sexualize a woman, but who's to say that it's not the same for a man? And it's just something that's very upsetting nowadays, because, we have to blame ourselves and say that, oh, we're the problem, when we're just here, we're having a good time, we're being confident. Like, I remember, I forget when it was, I was like so happy to wear like a certain outfit, and then like people are like, oh my god, like, aren't you worried, like, it's not like, it's a little too risque. I'm like, my non-existent boobs are not out. I'm covering everything that needs to be covered. Like, what are you even talking about? And it's just like, it's really depressing nowadays that, I'm not telling you to let your 13-year-old have her boobs hanging out or her butt out. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if it is a classy outfit that it accentuates your style and your flavor, then why it shouldn't be a problem. If there are wandering eyes, that's not your problem. That's someone else's problem, and they need to go figure out what their problem is and fix that. That's what's really bothering me with men nowadays, is that they want to be easy and say, oh, let's just, take away the problem altogether, when they aren't fixing themselves in the first place. Being at a Catholic school for over 7 years taught me that. I went to Our Lady of Grace Catholic School. We got to wear kilts, the whole Catholic school spiel. And I remember like them freaking out because, so again, like I said, I grew very, very in a short period of time. And when I first went to Catholic school in 6th grade, my skirt was past my knees. By the time I hit 8th grade, that little skirt was getting up to my like mid thigh. And I remember like my teachers freaking out, like, oh my God, like you need to get a new skirt. And I was like, first of all, I'm in a Catholic uniform. I mean, I'm not sure how much sexier it can get. And it was just like, it's just crazy. The mind boggles me how that we have to blame women for the problem when it's the men that can't stop staring. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. My cat is crying.
Is that you? I was literally just about to ask you if you have a cat.
So my cat Zeus, he's a Bengal cat. He's the biggest baby. He's crying right now because I'm not giving him attention. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, I have 2 cats, Zeus and Barbara.
Barbara.
Yeah.
Man, Barbara.
That's
love like a woman who works in HR or something.
Because you would never expect it. Like, oh, Barbara, come here. And they're like, where's Barbara?
Yeah, Barbara. Janice. That'll be the next one.
I actually have a cat back home named Ed. It's a girl.
Ed. Man, I got a plant for my birthday.
A plant?
So I named it a plant.
What kind of plant?
It's a bromeliad. My mom sent it to me. I'm hopefully I'm not going to kill it within the next 2 weeks. Because I got a succulent, a little tiny, like fits in the palm of your hand succulent, and then I like killed it in a week by accident.
Oh my gosh!
I was trying to water it.
Succulents supposed to like live forever.
I know they were until I murdered them by accident.
Oh my God!
I went to water him and I knocked over 2 of his leaves with my hand. I'm like, oh shoot, sorry, Steve, which I named it, which was a mistake. Succulent Steve. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
So I knocked off 2 of his leaves and I went to pick him up and I knocked him another one and I kind of like looked him in the eyes and I'm like, I'm sorry, Steve.
His eyes.
And he only had 2 left and so I just Kobe'd him right into the trash can. So it sucked. But there's this bromeliad. Supposedly you don't have to have a lot of tender to it, so you just water it a little bit. But animals are so interesting.
Oh yeah, and the fun part about Zeus is he likes to cry into the middle of the night and just scratch at my door.
Oh no!
And even if I open the door, he wants me to let him in. But if I close the door, he still cries. So I cannot win with him. And what he also loves to do is knock over everything in my bedroom. That's fun.
No.
I got some broken frames, picture frames, some random glass on the floor.
He's trying to have fun.
Oh, yeah. Very curious little one.
So what are you doing now?
So.
And what are your kind of hopes, dreams, next 5 years? And you can have the obvious answer that most people will have. Well, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. That's acceptable.
That's where I've been. I mean, since I graduated high school, just going with the flow, trying to figure out what I'm doing. So we haven't got into it yet, but I actually had a dropout of the dance department at Marymount.
Okay.
I had to get back into what was going on with my back and my feet. So basically, at Marymount, I was dancing every day, amazing, loved it. And then all of a sudden, I couldn't move. I was almost not actually paralyzed, but that's how it felt. Like I couldn't move my body. It was so much pain. And then, graciously, one of my directors gave me a number for a chiropractor. And so I went to the chiropractor and I was like, listen, I'm a dancer and I need to be able to move. I have dance every day. And I was like, okay, what's going on? And he was like, your vertebrae is subluxated. So basically my vertebrae was bent forward and my imagine like the pathways that go to your brain, to like your legs and your arms, where like your sensory receptors and your motor skills, all that fun stuff. Basically imagine like half of those pathways not working. So it was really difficult for me to even tell left from right. Like it would take my brain like literally a second or two to figure out, okay, you're touching my left, okay, it's my left. And so I had to do simple motor skills like picking up your arm and your leg and turning right and breathing in and doing it again and doing that repetitively in a cycle. And so also with this great injury is that all of your past injuries all hit you at the same time. And that this, like, I don't even know how you would call it, but the last thing you feel after this has been happening for years is pain. So all of this pain is coming from years and years of buildup of it slowly creeping forward and locking and not letting the like this pathway through. So I have, I've, oh my gosh, I can't even like name all the injuries I've had. I've had jaw surgery 3 times. I've had feet surgery. I flipped a 4-wheeler when I was in 8th grade. I had a shoulder injury. I had a concussion. I had hip problems when I was in a boot and crutches. Like, imagine everything hitting you at the same time. And that's where all my pain was stemming from. So I had to figure out what I was going to do next. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. My cat is yelling again.
It's okay. It's kind of funny.
Just hears Zeus crying in the background. So I had to figure out.
He wants to be on the podcast.
So I had to figure out, like, okay, is this going to be something I can fix? Because, I mean, I'm dancing every day. I'm paying for a private college education. I have to, get in all the way or get out all the way. And so I was going to the chiropractor 3 times a week trying to fix this problem. And at this point, I'm like kind of getting fizzled out of training with my Rockette because it was so difficult. I mean, I had to put on a brave face, but I was in so much pain from simple things. Like, I remember one day I woke up and I couldn't get out of bed. Like, that was how difficult it was. And not gonna lie, I'm not fully recovered. I stopped training. And sometimes still in pain. My foot especially. Basically, when I had the foot surgery, imagine the tendon that goes to your big toe. They had to rip that off to get the bone out and then reattach it.
God.
So I still have, like, if I touch under the ball of my foot, I feel it in the tip of my toe because all of my nerves are kind of messed up down there. So, and my back still hurts. I've gotten kind of back into dance every now and then. It's not the best. I haven't done it as much as I would like to, but I'm an adult now. I chose to move back after everything happened. I moved back after I dropped out of Marymount for about a few months, and then I was like, no, I got to be in New York. I came back, and I've been doing things here and there. I tried silks. I don't know if you know silks, but it's kind of like Cirque du Soleil stuff. It's very difficult. I have no upper body strength. I've done boxing. I have a very good friend who's an MMA fighter who has actually taught me some stuff. But all in all, it's been very difficult getting back into it because, I'm trying to keep in school. I'm on online school right now. I have a full-time job. I work over 8 hours a day. But I mean, it's very difficult. I mean, it's like, and talking about this all too, it brings me back to this feeling I want to have, again, that wall that is keeping me right now, that I haven't gone and I haven't done everything I wanted to do, but I will. And it's like a matter of time now. So that's kind of where I am right now, just trying to figure out, what I need to take seriously, what I need to do next, and how can I get to where I want to be. So right now I work a place called Spring Place. It's actually in close to Financial District, Soho. We have workspace, office space, and we also have studio space. So the best part about my job is that I got to witness fashion show firsthand. So I got to see cool people like Serena Williams, Leonardo DiCaprio, and a Wintour. They had the Fenty after party at the restaurant that we have inside. So people like Diplo, like who else? I can't even remember right now. Alexander Wang, other DJs, Rihanna, obviously, like just all these people I got to see firsthand, and these amazing fashion designers. And after being at this job, it's really because what Spring Place is a outlet for creatives. So you have to apply to be a member. It's like a club. There's one in New York. There's one in LA. The one in New York, all these people are, in fashion. They're designers. They're businesses and or cosmetics, you name it. And so I get to be surrounded by these beautiful minds every day, and it's awesome because I'm seeing the startups. I'm seeing that the big companies like you name it. I mean, you'll find it there. I just remembered I can't give out information of who's actually members, even only if they say. But you see these people come from, such like, two people company into a huge company. It's crazy. It's so like motivating because you're like, wow, this is how it starts. And these are the kind of people that you're going to see on the runway in a couple of years. So that's what's really been, I've always loved fashion. I never took it seriously until, a little bit ago, but, hopefully I'm actually collaborating with someone right now about, bringing out a new line, possibly my first line ever. So we'll see how it goes, but it's something I really want to get into.
What's the most famous person you've ever met and had an extended conversation with?
So, that's so hard. Being in New York, I have met a lot of cool people, I will say. It's really awesome. The person I talked to the most, oh my gosh, I can't even think. I'm thinking of like nothing right now that you say asked for it. Oh, I'm trying to think.
Like, so you met DiCaprio.
Oh, okay, so that was last week. So, it's on the website, so I can tell you. But he's a founding member of Spring Place, and he does have a residence in like Soho area. And he came in, and so I was working the front desk at this point, at the very like the entrance, and my friend, she had spilled her coffee, and I was like, oh, don't worry, I'll go run and get paper towels. I ran away, I got paper towels, I finally came back, and there were 3 guys standing at the entrance. And she was looking at me weird, but I didn't understand why. I was like, why are you acting weird? And then I come around, and I like come back to where I was standing, and she was like, oh, Madeline, can you please bend down and give me some badges? Like in a very formal tone. And I was like, okay. And I bend down, and all of a sudden I'm coming up from a crouched position. My head is up, and I'm looking at Leonardo DiCaprio under a black like hoodie and hat. And I was like, oh my God. I was like about to have a panic attack because I knew that he always came, but I'd never seen him myself. And so I was like, oh my God, I was like, this is him right now. And his movie just came out. And so I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I just saw it. Yeah.
And like, he's, talking to us, like he has to like sign in his friends as their guest. And like, we didn't have like a total, like a crazy conversation. Like, oh my gosh, how are you? You're cool. Like not like that, but more like, oh, here's your badges. You sign in here. Like,
yeah.
But oh my gosh, I was like, my heart dropped. I was like, am I in Titanic or what? I was like, I've been waiting for you. Like, it was just crazy. I was like, oh my gosh, it was the best feeling ever. But, no, yeah, that was definitely really cool. Just like seeing him, and he's still looking great. I mean, I know the tabloids have said otherwise, but oh my God, it was so cool seeing him. But, I can't think of other people that I've seen a lot of people. Like, I mean, I do like to go to some clubs. A lot of rappers like to go to clubs. I've seen like Migos, Travis Scott, Wiz Khalifa, Hasley, G-Eazy. I've seen like Lil Wayne. I've seen Tyga. A lot of those really cool rappers have come. I can't think of some now, but Young Thug, T Dollar Sign. I forget how to say his name. But no, they love clubbing too.
You're sounding like Tekashi 6ix9ine right now. Have you seen what happened today?
No.
So Tekashi 6ix9ine, he's been like arrested for like gang activity, and like today he went on the stand and is like just calling out all of these rappers that are in gangs.
Oh dear.
And everyone's freaking out and he was like, Cardi B is a member of the Bloods, I think.
Oh God.
And somebody else, and everyone's like just flipping out, like posting memes and stuff. But he just starts like, and blah blah blah, and blah blah blah, and blah blah blah, and then everyone's like, dude, stop. Like,
That's crazy.
you're saying a lot of
He's
people's
like, if
names.
I'm going down, everyone's coming down with me.
Yeah. And so that happened like today or yesterday. Like he's just been like calling out all of these people, and people are like kind of, he's snitching pretty hard.
Like
So it was just kind of funny because you're like, I've met Wiz Khalifa. I've met this guy. I mean, that's just nuts. I mean, you can, somebody,
gosh, it's so cool.
like somebody usually meets Leonardo DiCaprio, and that's about it in their entire life. You know, like there's like one person, but
you'd actually
like
be surprised. He actually, if you talk to a lot of people who have lived in New York for quite a while, they've met him. He's out everywhere. He does wear like his hoodie and like hat everywhere he goes, like all black. That's it.
Yeah.
But no, quite a few people have met him, and it's kind of funny.
Yeah, he's like pretty philanthropic too, right?
Oh yeah. He does a lot of stuff. I mean, he's been doing a lot of stuff for the oceans lately and how the climate change.
Mm-hmm.
What did he do for? What was it? The recent hurricane?
The Amazon rainforest.
Was the fire?
Something
Yeah,
like
he just donated a couple million or so. You know, no big deal.
Yeah, chump change.
It's in my pocket. It's no worries.
Yeah, right. Let's see. I have, if there's anything else you want to bring up, you can, but I've got like 5 quick hit questions and then kind of a wrap up thing. But is there anything else that kind of we didn't really touch on, that something that's important to you, something that you feel like talking about?
I don't know. Let's hit the questions and see if I think of anything.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So these are like some 5 fun questions, and then we'll do that. So if you could live in any sitcom universe, which one would you choose?
Is Friends a sitcom?
Yes.
Then 100% Friends. Easy. Done deal. Like, it's funny. Like, it's just, of course you understand the jokes, the hilarity of everything that Friends is, but once you live in New York, you completely get everything. Like, oh my God. Me and my family, we've watched it for years. Rip Friends for it taking off Netflix, and screw Warner Brothers for taking the rights. But oh my gosh, like if I could live in a sitcom, it'd hands down be Friends.
I predicted that in my
really?
in my pregame notes. Yeah, I knew you'd pick that.
I'm Rachel all the way, by the way. I mean, not like I was stuck up as a child. I was not like that at all, but definitely I feel like I really bond with Rachel.
You get to have dinner with anyone. Who would you choose? I've do the cop out of 2 people.
Okay.
But you can have whoever you want.
And it has to be alive, correct?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's so difficult. Oh, I have like so many people I can't like pick one. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga? Okay, cool.
Definitely.
You can have 2. So Lady Gaga comes. Who else?
Oh. Now you make it even harder.
Why not Rachel from Friends?
Oh, Jennifer Aniston. I would like to meet her. She seems like a cool gal.
Yeah.
And definitely still looking beautiful as 50.
She's great. Oh, what's her face? Do you know that Netflix show that's like about the 2 women who their husbands become gay and they're like married, and it's about them.
Wait,
too.
What?
It's like, have you heard of this show? It's like these 2 women, and they're like kind of in their 60s or whatever, and it's like they're both married to these guys. They both get divorced, and the 2 husbands.
Oh my God,
married.
no! I don't know what's it called.
And it's like Joan. I gotta look it up. It's like Gracie, but I think it's like Farrah Fawcett. Not Farrah Fawcett.
I was like, wait, Farrah Fawcett.
God, I gotta. Okay, hold on. It's like Gracie, Netflix, Gracie and Frankie.
Oh my God, wait. Okay, SNL made a funny skit about this because Pete Davidson loves this show. But no, I have not seen it, but I have heard about it.
Jane Fonda. She looks phenomenal for how old
she is. Oh my gosh, now I have to watch this because it sounds so interesting.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. I was on a date and watched that.
That's funny. Oh my gosh, now I have to watch it.
She's 81.
Oh wow, really?
Jane Fonda.
That's crazy.
Yeah, she looks great. Yeah. But yeah. I don't know how I got into that. But, what's your favorite part of yourself?
My favorite part of myself. I would have to say my height, because not only am I finally confident in my height, but since I was never confident as a kid, it brought out this like new side of me. I would say either very late high school or mostly New York college years, but it was just something that like I had to embrace that I never embraced. And then finally I was like, you know what? I don't care if I'm taller than everyone else. I love being taller than everyone else. I'm going to walk through this place with my highest heels on. And I'm not going to care about anyone. And it was such an empowering moment, because I was just like, I had finally, I mean, that's who I am. I like, everyone's always known me as the tall blonde girl. Like, that's who I am, you know? And
Yep.
so like finally embracing this idea that, you know, it's fine. Like I am tall. I embrace who I am, and you know, I can't change that. I mean, it'd be difficult to change, but you know, I have to embrace who I am and have full confidence in it. And so I would say that's my favorite.
Who plays you in a movie of your life?
Oh, that's hard. I don't know actors that well. I don't know who's a tall blonde.
Oh, good point. I was gonna say the chick from Parks and Rec, the blonde.
I don't watch Parks and Rec.
What's her face? Oh my gosh, what's her name? Let me Google tall blonde actors. Actresses.
I've gotten that I've looked like Taylor Swift and Scarlett Johansson. But
yeah, do Scarlett Johansson.
I like Scarlett Johansson. She's sexy. I could do her. But I'm not she's
Stacy Keebler.
I'm not like sexy like as a, you know, but like
Gwen
Stefani?
I'm just
looking them up now.
I'm Googling blonde actresses. Tall blonde. She's 5'6". January Jones, Blake Lively, Trisha Helfer. Let's see. Scarlett Johansson's a good one.
I feel like she's like a good pick because she's like neither here or there. She's like, you know, she's flexible. She can like.
Yeah. And you can be in a movie like what's she, Black Widow?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, you could be in a freaking action movie.
That'd be pretty sick. I do enjoy action movies like Fast and Furious.
Yeah. Did you see the new one?
No, I didn't. I really want to. I heard it's good. But like,
yeah,
I mean, I get it. They're like really pulling this out, and like, we get it. Like, you've had like them going for the last like 15 years, but I'm still gonna go see it.
Yeah. This summer, turn actress / dancer. She comes from Indiana. Yeah, Morgan Freeman, Liam Neeson, Scarlett Johansson, Madeline. Explosions. Yeah, I'll go see the movie.
I would too. I'm gonna see what it turns out to be.
You're gonna be in it. You're gonna be in it. Where'd my notes go? Oh. What secret invention do you hope gets invented in the next? Not secret invention. What invention do you hope gets invented in the next 20 years? Something in your lifetime.
In my lifetime.
You hope that we have.
Does it have to be like realistic?
No, it doesn't have to.
I want like. I
mean, mine's like teleportation.
Oh my gosh, I'm not kidding. That was what I was gonna say. I swear to God, I was like, because I hate flying. I am such a nervous flyer. I cannot fly to save. Like I went to France when I was in high school as our exchange program. I almost did not go because I did not want to go over water. And I kid you not, once like 2 years ago when I was coming back from Indiana back to New York, my flight kept going in circles because, you know, sometimes there's, you know, backup at the what do you call it, the landing strips. And so I was going to Newark in New Jersey, and so we were going like over water, and I'm like, okay, we're almost there, like we're turning back around, and then we were going over land, and then like all of a sudden we're going over water again, and I'm like, you know, being the anxiety like bomb I am, I'm like, oh my God, I was like, something's wrong. And I kid you not, a single tear came down my face because I was so anxious. I'm like, something's wrong. I'm not getting home. I'm not getting off this plane. Oh my gosh. I hate flying. Not even the fact, like, I think someone's coming to, you know, God forbid, terrorize it. But like, just the fact, like, oh my God, we're going down. Something's like happening. I'm gonna be in the middle of the ocean, like some Malaysian air flight happening all over again. Like, that's exactly what I think is gonna happen.
Yep. Any remote turbulence, it's like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah, I feel you 100%. And I get super motion sickness. Super motion sickness.
Oh, I'm the same
when
way.
I was a kid,
like, I can't only sit in the front of the car.
Same.
Only in the front
I can't
of the car.
read in the car. I can't like look at my phone in the car.
Yep.
When I was a kid up until the age of like 13, every single time I got on a plane, I threw up. Every time.
Gosh.
This poor little girl. Oh my gosh. One time we were coming back from Disney World. We were going to Indiana, and this poor girl had to sit next to me, and I was feeling so sick. I threw up right in the seat. I thank God I had the baggie or whatever, but I scarred the little girl next to me. I was like throwing up. I was so nauseous. And I was like, I just want to go home. And like, oh my God, I was like, how do you remember, like 8 years old or something? And this poor also 8-year-old next to me is like running for her mother, trying to get away from me. But no, I can't do planes. I get so motion sickness.
There you go. Teleportation. Fixed
I'm ready for
it.
it.
I just think it's so cool.
I'm ready for that.
It's so cool because who's not going to want to hang out with someone who teleports? Hey, you just want to like go to Australia real quick? We'll have like a good Friday. Or like,
seriously?
Oh yeah, let's go get coffee. Oh yeah, Starbucks down the street. No, like let's just go to like, I don't know, Boise, Idaho, Houston. Where do you want to go?
Who goes to Boise, Idaho?
I don't know. You want some ambiance? You want some cool mountains in the background?
I go to Salt Lake City then. That'd be really beautiful.
Yeah, good point. You can go skiing if you want.
True.
All right, so here's the last part. So I want you, actually, shoot, I forgot to ask you this. Do you have a motto? Did I ask you about a motto?
No, you did not. But I will give you one.
So this will be, yes, please give me, what is your motto for like life right now? Somebody gave you a piece of advice. You're like, oh, that's really good advice. Like most recently or a couple of years, like what's something that you live by?
Something I live by, and something I actually wrote on a job application once, was quit slacking and make shit happen. I don't know if I can curse on this. I just did.
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Well, I just did. So that was kind of what I kid you not. I applied to a job. They asked me what my motto was. I wrote that because it's so true. I mean, you just got to make it happen for yourself. I mean, no excuses. You got to do it, and you got to make it happen. No one else is going to do it for you. You know, you can't be a trust fund baby forever. I never was, never will be. But for those people out there who are, awesome for you. But you got to quit slacking and make stuff happen.
There you go. That's great. So here's the last one so you can save your cat from...
Do you hear him right now?
Yeah, a little bit. That's good. I want you to pick a person. Anybody. Boyfriend, girlfriend, your brother, your family, friend, doesn't matter. Pick somebody, and I want you to shout them out now and tell them how much you mean to them or they mean to you. And it's like thank them for stuff. Just kind of go on a rant about them if you can. And then I want you to tell them that you did that and then have them listen to this part of the episode.
So, I mean, since I've already been talking about him in this episode, I would love to shout out my brother, Glenn Kelich. He is somewhere in Carmel, Indiana right now, about a couple 100 miles away from me. I miss him so much. Mm-hmm. I love him. He's my number one motivator, my biggest support group. He's been there for me since day one. He always will be, no matter what kind of things I get myself into, and I'll never think I'll get out. He's always been the person next to me telling me I can get through it. Always been there for me when I told him my craziest ideas that, I want to do this. He's like, okay, let's do it. He never, sometimes he questions it because he's the more realistic one in the bunch. He's the more careful one, but we always even each other out. So whenever I wanted to do something crazy, he wanted something safe. So we met somewhere in the middle, and that's how we always worked. And we've always bonded since we were kids. Like, we've always been so close. I love you, Glenn. You're the best. I believe in everything you do today. I'm so excited for you and happy for you to be performing in the awesome ballet company, going to grad school at IU. I'm happy for you. I love you. You're the best.
Sibling goals. Nice. That's awesome. I think it's really, I really am happy for you that you had such a powerful and positive role model for you. And a lot of times people's families can be a source of stress and negativity. And I'm glad that you had that growing up and still do. And I'm very excited for you going forward, because I think there's just nothing that's going to stop you. I'm 100%, 200% confident that you are going to get what is coming to you in a positive way, whether that's dancing or fashion or nothing.
Thank you.
Not nothing, but you know what I'm talking about. Or you're going to get nothing. No, I genuinely think, actually today I published episode 3, and this girl was talking about how if she doesn't believe it, she doesn't say it. So if she doesn't believe your hair is beautiful, she's not going to say it. So I'm the exact same way. I genuinely get very positive vibes, and your work ethic and your positivity is magnetic, and that you will continue to grow your positivity, and that you're going to get what you deserve, and you deserve happiness and success. And regardless of where you're at, you will not let anything stop you. And like, that's awesome to see. That
Thank you.
Nothing has stopped you, and it's awesome. I just want you to realize that you are a strong woman. If you don't realize it, that you are going to be a role model for other women, especially, but just for people in general, of like, oh my gosh, like, I want to be like her.
Thank you. I hope to, because I've had those role models in my life. It has been my dream always to be that person for someone else. So I'm excited to see if that ever happens, and it would be a dream of mine to have been able to have that impact on someone.
You will. I know it. So, hey, thanks so much for supporting me over the years with Vintage Indie, and taking a small leap and just being on a little podcast I'm trying to do, just to raise awareness for people that have stories, and people who are going for their dreams and struggling along the way, but still fighting. And it just means a lot for everybody who's been on my podcast so far.
Of course. No, thank you. Best vintage place in Indiana. I got to go to Vintage Indie.
Sweet. Well, hey, we'll keep in touch. I should be posting this kind of around mid-November.
Okay.
So
just let me know.
Yeah. Well, hey, do me a favor and continue to kill it and work hard. And you're going places, so I'm excited.
Thank you so much. Means a lot.
All right. Have a good night.
You too.
Hey everybody, this is Ryan from the Classic Buffalo Podcast. Wanted to take a second to talk about Anchor, how I'm actually making this podcast happen. Super happy that I'm partnering with them. So, Anchor is actually the easiest way to make a podcast. I've done my research. This is basically the best way. I promise. It's going to give you everything you need in one place for free, which is the best part. It's going to have tools, so you don't really need a fancy schmancy recording guy. Anchor's going to be helping you out there, and then they're going to distribute the podcast everywhere, to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, everything. And then you can also make money with basically no minimum listenership, which is kind of rare. So hop on Anchor as soon as you can. Thanks. We just got done talking with Madeline. Man, she's like known all of these people, like famous people. That was so cool to talk with somebody who is in the know, and meeting Hoodie Leonardo DiCaprio. Man. She told me she met LeBron James, and she told me the story of meeting the entire roster of the Lakers after she told me that basically some dude ran into their table at the club. It spilled a candle and got wax all over her leg, and she went downstairs while her leg's burning to get some first aid stuff. Went up a side entrance and then saw LeBron with all of the Lakers and had a conversation with all of them. She's got so many cool stories, and I was really happy to talk with her because she's bought a few things and she's always had positive vibes. She sent me a couple photos of her wearing some of my stuff at Fashion Week, and man, like I said, chatty Cathy in a good way, right? She is such a positive person and has gone through so much adversity through her dream that it's so cool to, when I mentioned the movie montage, I thought that was so accurate that, she hit these walls and just said, I'm going to work my tail off, and then play the Rocky music in the background. And next thing you know, they're like, I don't even recognize you. You're a totally different person. And Even though her dream might be kind of on standstill or a little bit just looking different with just how she's her body's feeling now, it's just another one of those people that you can just tell that she's going to be successful regardless of what she does. And that's really cool to interact with somebody like that. I just want to say that just because you hit your first wall doesn't mean that you'll fall down and, well, you might fall down, but it doesn't mean you can't go around it. You can't, take a step back, assess how tall the wall is, assess how wide it is, what is it made out of, and then how can I go around it? How can I get through this wall? Ask some people, bring in an architect, bring in a wall expert, if you will. I'm going deep into this metaphor, but you can figure it out. You can get through it and kind of switch gears a little bit and maybe bulk up a little bit so you can smash through the wall. I think it's possible. I think, what's his face? I think it was like Gary Vaynerchuk. I love quoting the guy, but he just said that, like, he got asked, when do you give up? And he's like, you don't ever stop. You just keep going and going and going and going. And I think she's evidence of that. And I'm excited for her in her fashion career or dance or whatever she decides to do. It's just another person, like I've said. She's just going to be successful in whatever she does. And I think that was important to note. Thank you, Madeline, for being a part of what I'm doing. Million times over. It means a lot for just every single time another person does an episode with me. It always feels good for me for whatever reason. So that's why I keep doing it. And I know I'm changing lives. So thank you so much for that. And I hope your brother enjoys your little shout out that you did, because that's so cool. Like, to have such a role model who went for his dream and is continuing to go in for it, and is inspiring her. So thank you so much for inspiring that great person. And yeah, I can't wait to see how she turns out, because I know it'll be good. A little short debrief, but we'll be back again next week doing one of my friends. He's a solid guy, another guy I've met through Vintage Indie. But for now, I'm glad you're alive. You're an awesome person, and I love you. Bye.